to Uganda was truly a life-changing experience. It was not only the food, the culture, and the different exposure to something new that changed my life, but it was the project that we conducted while we were there that changed my life as well. We partnered with the FSC and constructed a water harvesting tank in Masaka, Uganda. In Uganda, there are only two seasons, rainy season and dry season. Thus, this project consisted of using the resources around us to provide a water harvesting tank that collected water through rainfall that was more feasible to the community. We spent many days learning to construct this project, as well as working on it. We dug the hole, laid the tarp, and provided a structure for the surrounding area to prevent unwanted items from keeping inside the tank. At this time, we thought the project to be cumbersome and inefficient because there was a lot of idle time due to our skills that we lacked in conducting this project, but we were lucky to have the community support us in all of our construction endeavors. Our group also really wanted to work with children, whether it were to be in a school or in an orphanage. We felt that our bond with the children could make a difference. Well, we did get a chance to work with children that were part of an environmental club from a local primary school. We both got a lot out of this experience, and we both learned a lot about each other. Working with the children on the water harvesting tank allowed me to realize that even though we were not working in the schools with the children or at an orphanage with the children, we were making a difference. In fact, we were making an impact in many more ways than we thought, and it was not until I attended a presentation by a Ugandan government official that I realized how important this water harvesting project is, not just for the community, but for the future generations as well. At this presentation, we were given an overview of water issues in Uganda. Not only were we provided with statistics, but we also learned about how the government aids in overcoming these many water issues. As explained to us by the government official, when water sources are not available in the community must submit a request for the sources to be provided by the government. This application process is only viewed once a year because of the budgets that are made once a year, and this application process can take up to a year to be viewed. If you understood correctly, you must apply in order for a water source to be provided in your community. After hearing this process, I was shocked, and I immediately started asking questions as well as providing solutions to combat this horrid process. In my thoughts, I stumbled over a few facts. If processing an application for water takes up to a year, a community's condition and situation can change. Their change in conditions in the community will ultimately affect if they are able to be granted a water facility or not. In other words, and not to be offensive by the way, I feel that the government is saying, let's just wait for a couple more people to get sick, or even die before we can recognize this community as a community that is in need of a water facility. And like a true politician, she completely disregarded any of my entirely legitimate concerns. But as a result, this presentation by the government official was like my turning point in this trip. Although we as a group really wanted to work directly with children, I'm kind of glad that we didn't end up working in an orphanage, or we didn't end up working in a school. Not saying that we would not learn as much or impact the children as much as we did in the community where we provided the water harvesting tanks, but by conducting these water harvesting tanks, we were able to work with a community that opened up their homes and hearts to our group, and as a result, there was an everlasting bond that was created as well as an unforgettable experience that will make a lasting impact on both of our lives, as well as the future children in the community. After returning to the States, we received emails about how the water harvesting tanks were being used and will continue to be used for its useful life. There were many aspects of my experience that I could have shared, but I chose to share this portion of my experience because of how water is taken for granted in the States. Most of people's concerns are with what type of water they prefer or the temperature of the water. But here's a good question. Do you ever have to worry about running out of water or not having water that is clean enough to drink? For the most part, no. And it took me a 10-day excursion to Uganda to realize how important water is and how much water impacts the day-to-day life of many people in the world.